Welcome to Everything Life and Real Estate. Let's get started with our hosts, Linda McKissack and Dana Gentry.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Everything Life and Real Estate. I'm Linda McKissack.
And I'm Dana Gentry.
Hey, Dana, I love your bright yellow today. Did you do a color chart and yellows in it?
No, well, you know what? I am spring, and I do think maybe this yellow might be one. But I don't know. I'm recording a bunch of videos today, and so I was like, I'm going to wear something that's like
bright,
spicy. Yeah.
Love it. Love it. Awesome. Well, why don't you kick us off and introduce our guest?
Yes, I am so excited to have our guest on. Ashley Willis is with us today, and we'll let her explain her backstory. But I was trying to think, Ashley, and tell Linda, I don't know, I think Diana's event in Nashville might have been the first time we met in person.
Yes.
And that's been a couple of years ago now. I don't remember when that was, but it was great. But anyway,
it was last year, wasn't it? Was March?
Was it? I don't know. I'm so horrible with times, and everything runs together. So, but have loved building a friendship with you since then. And truthfully, I just love what you're doing. And I was telling Linda before we started the record button, I believe that your book is going to be the new, no offense to them, but the new Berenstein Bears book for kids and for families when they're moving. So anyway, Linda always kicks us off with a question. So Linda, go for it.
All right. So Ashley, you were born, and then what happened? Bring us to today.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So I was born in St. Louis, Missouri. That's where I'm from, and I currently live in Beaumont, Texas. But it's been a fun journey from then to now. I've been a real estate agent for 18 years this year. I dropped out of college against my parents' wishes to get my real estate license in the wonderful year of 2007. So we all know how that worked out. But no, one thing that I love to tell people is that I was really blessed being born into a family that loved homes. My dad built the first home that we lived in, and I just remember on weekends, my parents would take us to open houses or new construction homes. And in St. Louis, we have basements, and my dad would take me in the unfinished basement and show me how the home was built. And so I've just I've had this joy of homes my whole life. And so it was so fitting for me to get into real estate, and it's just been such a blessing. And it's amazing how it's just changed throughout my life, as far as starting out as a young professional, and then moving into the role of a mom. And, just how my business has gone from being a top producer to, just selling a couple homes a year. And now it's kind of transformed into real estate, children's books.
Yeah. Awesome. So I'm curious, how in the world, when did this idea hit you, and why children's books?
It's so funny. My grandfather owned a printing business in St. Louis. Mm-hmm. And I remember as a child of going over to my grandparents' house, and they always had these little little children's books around that were the readers that you would have in science class, or just different books. And I remember asking him one day, I was like, well, where are all these books from? Because they're all random. And he was like, I print these for authors. And I remember having a conversation with him just on anyone can be an author. All these books were self-published. And I just remember that sticking with me. And it was from that moment, it was I would love to write a children's book. And I always loved children's books because I'm very artsy, and so I've always loved illustrations and the pictures, and so it's just so funny. It's something that has stayed with me throughout my entire life. And I just remember it like coming up in high school, and it was like, I really still want to write a children's book one day. And then in my 20s, and then it was just like, fast forward to COVID. We were all at home. And I just remember thinking to myself, I'm like, this is still a dream that I want to pursue. And, now's a good time to like try to figure out like what that would take. What does it look like? What are my options? But yeah, like I've just always had a love of children's books, and yeah, so it's just funny like how it's just kind of transformed.
Linda, you know what I'm thinking about? Two things you just said, actually, that Linda and I have talked about multiple times on the podcast, and it's at the age of like 7 and 8, you kind of have that like inkling or like something inside of you that actually ends up being your unique ability or your superpower, whatever way you want to call it. And that kind of happened with you, it sounds like, at your grandparents' house, which is so cool. And then the second thing is, just like Linda, we actually recently recorded an episode on dreaming again. And I love that you, even though that there were different seasons in your life that maybe it wasn't an appropriate time for you to start to be a children's author, but you didn't let go of the dream, and you made it happen. And I mean, now you've made it happen in such a huge way, and we'll get to the book and all the great things that are happening with it. But it's just cool to hear that unwind, because I think so many people, when they get in a rut or, whatever, like Linda has always said, like, they just need to dream again. Like, they need to get back to dreaming again. And it's cool to hear you say that, because that's what you've done.
Yeah. And it's so fun to look back on. I wish I was journaling at that time, because looking back at it, there's really nothing special about, like anything that, that I've done, but it's like just the thought of like really wanting to go for something and then doing it. And I love talking to people about that, because there's so many dreams that people have, whether it's like learning an instrument or writing a book or learning something. I just think it's such a wonderful thing, and it's been such a blessing in my life. And I'm so thankful that I did take that leap, because I could still be sitting here now going, one day I'll write a book. And there's nothing special about me, that it's just a matter of just going for it. And, I know you're both believers, and, God was my foundation in all of this, as really finding of what I wanted to write about. And giving me that push. It's just like, I've known that was just something I was supposed to do.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, and a couple of things here I see. I think I've just kind of always felt like seeds are planted along the way in our life. So when we get confused about who we are, or what we're supposed to be doing, if we look back, our history, I don't think God gave us our past journey for no reason at all. I think there's clues in there, there's lessons in there, all those things to lead us to, like in your example, those seeds being planted by your grandfather and just your parents going to houses and stuff like that. So I think that's really cool. I'm just curious, when did you decide it was going to be about a house, and why? And then what's the end game, so that you will know this book did exactly what I wanted it to do?
Yeah. So, it's so funny. For as long as I've had this dream, I never knew what I would write about, because children's books, you can write about anything. And I had no idea what I wanted to write about. There was nothing, pulling me in a certain direction. And, it's a very surreal moment. And I love telling people this story. I was actually sitting at my dining room table, and I was just working on getting some things done. And I'm sitting there by myself, and, the thought of the book just popped up, and it was just like, I really want to start working on this. What do I write about? And, I always have this I've always had this like ask of, I want a Elf on the Shelf idea. Like I want such a brilliant idea, because it's like I don't even know who came up with it, but it's like whoever did, like that was such a brilliant idea, because it started as just an elf, and now the elf has movies and friends that you buy and the dog. And it's like, what a brilliant idea. And so
now the elf is in every house.
yes,
I mean,
it's changed, it's changed, Christmas forever, like for generations. And so I'm like, I want my Elf on the Shelf idea. And so, I just sat there and I was thinking, I'm like, where do good ideas come from? And I'm like, well, they're a gift from God.
Mm.
And so I sat there and I prayed, and I just said, God, I know that you're going to give me what I'm supposed to write about. And it may be tomorrow, or it may be 10 years from now. That's okay. But I was like, I know that when you give me this idea, that it is going to be what I'm supposed to do, and I'm going to follow it. And I kind of just left it at that. And a year went on, and I really didn't think about the book, just trying to get through COVID. And so it was funny. It was like a year later, I'm sitting in the exact same spot in my dining room and was not thinking about the book at all. And this voice came to me and said, you're supposed to write a children's book about a family moving.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And my first reaction was to laugh. And I feel so bad because it was honestly a moment of like, duh, of course that's what I'm supposed to write about. Like, my whole life has been, a love of homes and, as a real estate agent, helping families move. And it was just such a moment of like, of course this is what I'm supposed to do. And only God could tell me now. And it was just such perfect timing.
Well, you married your dream that you had with this thing that you've done for the last 17 years or however long at that point, 16 years. Yeah. And that's so cool to watch. I mean, it was the perfect thing. So, okay, the book is The House Hunt. So tell us a little bit. I know, and maybe for people watching, can you hold it up so they can see? Because I want them to be able to. Yes, it's so
that's
beautiful.
so cute.
So cute.
The House Hunt.
Did you do the illustration?
No, I wish I was that talented. No, I actually have an illustrator, Amy. She lives in Canada. I found her on Instagram. And we're now the greatest of friends, and she's so wonderful to work with, and she did such a beautiful job on bringing this story to life. But yes, so The House Hunt is a story about a family who's looking to buy a home, and it's almost like an episode of House Hunters for kids.
Yeah.
They go and they see the different houses, and then they find the one, and then the kids get to pick out their rooms, and it's a very sweet story, because in the end, they talk to their parents just about the emotions of moving and leaving, the house that they've lived in. And, it's just such a easy story to relate to, anyone moving with kids, and just kind of opening up that line of communication between parents and kids. I think is just so needed in this process.
So true. So have you thought of a sequel so that we can have an Elf on the Shelf, and or Bernstein Bears is?
Yes,
because I got a million ideas already. But I want to hear yours. Do you have a second?
Well, so what's really cool is, it started just as a book. And, as I'm writing and developing this idea, it became, just started as a book that I could just sell.
Yeah.
And it turned into, well, this is going to be a great gift for agents to give to their clients with kids.
Yeah.
So as an agent, how would I want to give this book, or how would I want, to work with families and make them feel extra special during, the transaction? And so we also did a coloring book, activity book. that
So
goes
I
along
love
with
it. Love it.
And so it's 60 pages, and it's things that the kids can fill out. There's coloring pages, and it's all real
It's
estate
so good.
activities, little word searches and mazes. So we have
when my nephews moved to Charlotte, I sent them, like, I gave them the books and the stuff, and I mean they just loved it. I mean, loved it.
I love that so much. I love that so much. I was talking with a realtor yesterday who I had met at a conference the other week, and she said, my daughter's asking me to read this to her every night.
Oh,
And that's just like the coolest thing for me.
that's
It's
so cool.
Yeah. And we also do have a memory match game as well that goes along with the book. It has illustrations, and it's
smart.
just your classic little flip over, make a match game. And so the kids really love that one.
So good.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I love it. Wow. That is
You
so
have- I feel like this. I was sharing this with Linda Ashley. I feel like this last year, you have just like taken off. I mean, there's so many great things, and you've been to so many great conferences. And I mean, I loved when you posted the video of you getting the storage unit, and I don't remember how many thousands of books being delivered into the storage unit. And I was like, "Go, Ashley!" Like, that is incredible.
Oh,
Yeah.
you guys are so sweet. I will tell you, I'm so thankful to have a very supportive husband who says yes to my crazy ideas. There were 24,000 books that were delivered in May.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Like, are you
Wow.
sure? I was like, we're going to sell them all. We're going to sell them
Yeah.
all.
Well, okay,
That's-
so before you tell us then, like, what's next, will you share with us just any lessons that you've learned throughout this whole following your dream thing, or maybe any failures that happened that you learned from? Just, I know there's so many.
You know, there's something to be said about timing in this whole journey. And being patient sometimes, because, you know, we want things simultaneously. Like, we want it instant.
Yeah.
We're so quick to want something right away. And, you know, we never understand timing, but it always works out perfectly. And I will say that I'm so blessed that this journey, you know, there's a lot of moving pieces to it as far as writing. And then, you know, I self-published, so I had to hire my own editors, my own illustrator, my own book designer, find a printer who I sent thousands of dollars to, hoping that, you know, everything was good, you know. And so there was a huge leap of faith in this journey, and the timing worked out perfectly. And I can honestly say that I couldn't have done this 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, I just wasn't the same person that I am now. And God has played a huge part of that. And he's lined me up with every resource I've needed. And it's been the most incredible journey. And it's been such a blessing to our family. I have a 9-year-old son, Ethan. He is actually the character in the book.
Oh.
And he does this business with me. And so we've made this a journey of learning how to run a business and sales. And, you know, when he gets a little bit older, I'm going to have him help me filing sales tax every quarter. But, you know, there's so many pieces of this that have just been so incredible. But the biggest thing I will say is, and I love talking to people about this, is follow your dream.
Yeah.
And go for it, because, you know, it's not only changing your life, it changes the life of others around you. And if I help someone just get the courage to start something that they've always wanted to do, like, that's a win for me.
That's awesome.
You know, you just think about how many people have something that they've always wanted to do, and they just don't take action on it for I'm sure many reasons.
It breaks my heart. It breaks my heart.
Yeah.
Like, to think about that.
Yeah.
I think it's their ego that talks them out of it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, there's a lot, you know, that I could see a lot of things um, we live in such a busy society.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And, I think people just say, I don't have time. I don't have time to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And, just carving out that of time to just even go step by step, like, can change everything.
Yeah.
So true.
I think both those are right. I think it's ego, I think it's time, and then I think it's just fear of failure. I mean, we just saw that
Yes.
Linda text you this morning, but after the Liz Bohannon exercise, so many people are doing that now in their offices and even on their social media. I've been seeing people do it, but I can't remember, 24% or 25% said their biggest concern is just fear of failure, or like their biggest scare. And I think sometimes that just holds people back, too,
Yeah.
which is why I wanted you to share the lesson. And I love that you said you learned the lesson of patience.
Yeah.
Because we tend to want things in 3 seconds,
Yes. And I'm
really
usually not the best with patience.
Yeah.
most
Wow.
high drivers are not.
Yeah.
So, and it's that fear of failure that keeps people from starting. And then once you do actually take action on it, now your fear of failing keeps you going so that you don't fail, right? But I think the fear of failure, like we saw in that report, Dana, that you and I looked at, that he sent us, it's that's what keeps people from starting, is that fear of failure. Whereas once you get involved in something, if you have enough passion and energy around it, your fear of failing at it will keep you from failing at it, to be honest.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's so true.
And it's definitely, it doesn't stop, like, once you've created the thing.
Oh, it just begins.
It
Most
just
people,
begins. And then it's a constant work of every day of working on a mindset and just staying focused. It's hard. It's really hard.
And it's the same thing with a real estate agent's business. The idea of being an agent sounds amazing. And then the idea of being an author sounds great. And then you get to the fact that now I got 24,000 books here. I got to lead generate. And we're back to this lead generation thing again.
Yes,
and
I know.
I see that's what stops most people. I mean, Dana, Bailey has an amazing book called The Ellie Project.
Yes. Yeah.
I have that book.
I was going to say, yes, I have those cards.
Yes. And everybody tells me grown men will say that book changed my life.
Yeah.
Hearing that story changed my life, because I realized you don't know how long you have. But I noticed that the part that was difficult, and it's the same thing with us. If we write books, it's all great, but you got to lead generate. You got to get it out into the world. That's where the real work actually begins.
Yeah.
It is so true. And I heard that throughout the journey, and I just didn't realize until
how true it was
in my hand. And I'm like, okay, now I gotta sell them.
But know, Linda, there's something to what you just said. Like, yes, there's the fear to start, but there's also the just like getting into action. I mean, we say it all the time, but activity breeds activity, and just making that big commitment that makes you want to pee your pants, like all the things that we've said a million times. But it's just saying, like, okay, I'm going to do it. And then once you do it, it doesn't get easier, but you're figuring it out along the way. And then look at the joy and the reward that comes from it. And like now, you're still in the grind, Ashley, but you're also reaping a lot of the benefits and a lot of the seeds that you've sown over the last however long. And it's just so cool to watch, because I always heard John say the reason that he wanted to write a book is because he can impact people one-on-one, but with book you impact thousands or hundreds of thousands, or however far the reach goes. And that's what you've been able to do. And it's just so cool to watch it continue to grow, because you decided to make the big commitment and to get into action and go do it, even when you had the fears.
Yeah. And I owe a lot of that to my real estate career, because it's very similar. It's like, if you want to sell, you have to go out and make it happen. Like, it's on you. And I when I got my Texas real estate license in 2013, I think it was the next month I had signed up for Bold, and Bold changed my life. And I owe a lot of that to Diana, of even helping me have the courage to do this new venture. I think a lot of all the things that I've learned in real estate have have now transferred over into book selling.
Yeah. Yeah. But here's the thing, for some people, they might not have the passion to do it for real estate, but they would have the passion if it was something else. I'm curious, do you have a talk around it, Ashley, that you give?
No, I
That's
don't.
got to be, I know that needs to be your next thing you work on with brand builders is
Yes.
the keynote.
And
Yeah.
it could be about dreaming again. It could be about, and
Yep.
you could have a section on what it really, understand the viewpoint of moving from a kid.
Yeah.
There's so many different angles you could do it, but I mean, I'm sitting here thinking, how many people are you going to inspire to go after a dream that's been planted since they were 7 or 8 years old and they've just never taken action on it?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
There is something that I want to eventually tell the world about. And I haven't quite figured that out yet, but yeah, it's the one thing too that I am so inspired by is the real estate world.
Yeah.
And how there's so many of us out there that go out there and get their license and then they end up moving into title or being a lender or being a real estate assistant or I have a great friend, Kelly Higgins, who is Elevated Agent, who she does sells all the graphics and listing presentations. And she started as a real estate agent, but had this incredible, love of creating like Canva templates and things. And now that's what she does. And she has an incredible business. And so it's so amazing to me that there's so many things that people can find in this world to find their passion and fit it into the real estate world. It's just been so fun. And I love how my real estate and my love for children's books has now combined.
Yeah. So cool.
Yeah.
Well, tell us what's next for you. And then also how can people find you? How can they get the book? What's the best way for them to reach out, follow you, all the things?
Yeah. So we are currently working on more books. The House Hunt is going to be a series.
Love it.
Yay.
Yes. So we'll be launching this probably early next year. We do have a few products that we're working on that will make more great gifts for agents to give their clients with young kids. And so that I'm hoping to launch one of those by the end of this year, but I promise you guys will know soon.
Yeah.
Yay.
But it doesn't stop with this. There's so many more things that we think that we can bring and help agents connect with kids and parents connect with kids while they're moving. That's kind of become my mission now, is to get kids involved and really be seen and heard during the moving process.
That's awesome.
But
I wonder how many families just move and it's all on the parents, but really don't take time to think about wonder how our kids feel or wonder what the kids are thinking.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure that happens majority of the time.
So I actually saw a statistic that in 2024, 23% of families moved, or 23% of families with kids under the age of 18 moved last year.
Wow.
That is a huge number.
Yeah, almost a
And,
point.
I've loved hearing the stories of families who have read the book, and it's opening the line of communication with their kids during the process. But also, I hear from adults all the time that moving was one of the most traumatic things in their childhood. And so it's if we can help with that, that's huge.
Yeah, I share this stat that they just put out from 2024, and it was I think it was NAR, the NAR statistic. But anyway, I share this in my new class I've been teaching called Navigating the Current Market that we're in. But it said that 47% of home sellers reported that they cried at least once during the transaction.
Oh.
And I'm I believe it. But then the very first time I've taught that was actually in Columbus, and one of the agents raised their hand and they said, I'm pretty sure 47% of the realtors did too.
Yeah.
We need that statistic.
Yes.
I'm it's probably so true. But the reality is what you just said, it is stressful. I mean, so imagine how stressful it is on the kids when we don't even think about it as the adults, because we're we got to switch the utilities, we got to line up the movers, we got to do this, we got to do that.
I remember one of our houses, Bailey wouldn't even get out of the car. She was a teenager. She wouldn't even get out of the car and come in and look at it. She was refusing to move. And then I think she wound up loving the house, but it was like, and then she tainted her little brother where he's like, I don't like this house either. I'm not moving. Like, oh, look what you did.
But it's so true. And these kids don't know how to explain what they're feeling at such a young age. And I feel as parents, we're so stressed when we're moving and we're not thinking about the kids, not on purpose. Right. But I think that's something that agents can really step in and be seen as the hero at the end of the day. Like, here's some resources on how to talk to your kids. Read this book at night. Yeah. Talk to them about what they would like to see in their house. There's simple things that I think are going to change the way these kids see moving.
I'm sure 100% are going to say a pool.
Yes. Very true. Very true.
That was my action going up.
Yeah.
Ashley, one of the things I love is that you will customize for the realtors the book in the beginning and put their logo, like their custom logo and contact information. And it just is the best gift. I can't remember, for so many years I would put that. Yes,
that's awesome.
Yeah, this book is a gift from your favorite real estate agent. Yes. Oh, that's Tally.
So good.
Is that Tally? Yeah. Yeah. I just think it's so cool to be able to do that. So just want to make sure that all the agents that we have listening know how easy you make it for them and how good you make them look throughout the process.
Yeah, and so we do that not only because it's meant to be a keepsake for the family to keep. They have your information.
Yeah.
But then also it makes it a marketing piece, which for tax purposes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so good. Yeah, and the agent, remember Terry Moeller that was on our podcast, Dana?
Yeah.
She did so many things for her clients' kids, and I know that's a way to people's heart is through their kids. Like if they lost their tooth, she sent them $2. If they got their driver's license, she sent them a gas card.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, you want to do something for somebody, do something for their kids. That's so much more meaningful.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it, Ashley. Can't wait to see what's next.
Yes. Okay. So how can they find you? What's the best way for them to connect?
So you can go to our website where we offer our books for sale. It's welcomehomepress.com. And then you can find us on Instagram and Facebook at Welcome Home Press.
Love it. So awesome. Well, great job. I think what you're doing is so cool and it's so amazing. And we gotta get you into more offices too, Linda. I told her, I'm like, how great would it be for agents to be able to walk into their market center and just grab some and go? I mean, head
We're
straight
working on that.
Yes.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So cool. So cool.
I love it.
We appreciate you being on so much.
Well, I appreciate you guys. I'm so thankful for this opportunity.
That's great. Well, remember, if you have not hit the subscribe button, please go ahead and do that now. And the greatest compliment you can pay Dana and I is to pass this podcast along to anybody that you think would enjoy these conversations. If you have an opportunity, a challenge, or a question or a guest that you'd like us to bring on the podcast, reach out to us at info@everything life and real estate. Ashley, I'm super pumped. Can't wait to see what you do with this book. And Dana, I'll see you next week.
Sounds good. See you then.
Be sure to subscribe for more business strategies and tactics to inspire you to live an abundant real estate life. Don't forget to rate and review so we can bring you the best content. Find this and other valuable information at everythinglifeandrealestate.com.